Good evening, guys. How are we all doing? So this is our Bitcoin evening wrap. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, and we will go over to those charts to see how Bitcoin is getting on. So yeah, you can see here quite clearly on the 4 hour that we have overcome this trend line, this downward sloping trend line. So that is obviously good to see. We've got this midpoint of this range, which is I say the midpoint of the range, the midpoint of this range here. This is not exactly the 12,000 to 11,000 range. This is sort of our resistance box that we've had drawn in for a while. We have reached the midpoint of that, which was a level of importance that we had drawn in. So this is our next hurdle, obviously getting over this trend line, and then not getting rejected by the bottom side of this trend line. So we have actually got multiple resistance levels in here, but we've overcome one of them. And we have been supported by the bottom of the range. So I am fully expecting us to come back up to test the top of the range, basically. So obviously that would mean we've got to overcome the resistance. So whether we trade sideways for a bit and gather the momentum to get above it, or whether we just pretty much trade straight up. I'm not sure how, obviously I don't know how we'll do it, but I think the probabilities are there for us to come and test the top of this range, and yeah, that would clearly be good for Bitcoin and clearly be good for price action. And then obviously, like I say in this morning's video, whilst we're at the top of the range, we have got a chance of breaking the top of the range. So that is obviously something that we would all like to see, isn't it? So if we check out these stochastics again, you can see 4 hour jammed up there. It's now moving further up, which is good, and we just know a lot of these other stochastics are all going to be looking really good now. We'll have a look at the 8 hour getting up there. 10 hour getting up there. 12 hour has now got into the bullish half, the top side. So that could start to give us some real good momentum to the upside. Daily still hasn't turned over, but it is very low. So when it does turn around, it will be coming in similarly to how the 12 hour came from a very low point. The daily will be coming from a very low point. I mean, 2 day and 3 day not looking so good, but 5 day has turned back up, and weekly is definitely looking better now. So we have definitely got more or less agreement on these, time frames. Well, on all these shorter time frames, not necessarily the 2 and the 3 day, but all the ones above that. So that is quite a good level of confidence, telling us that we do have momentum with this move. And yeah, I mean, that is basically why I'm looking for more upside. As you can see, our nice daily 9 basically testing the support zone, and now price quite clearly getting above the high of that candle. But I mean, you can see more clearly on the daily, we're looking to overcome this resistance structure. And if we do, by structure I mean this trend line, and this horizontal, if we do overcome this area, I don't think this 11,900 will put up much of a fight against Bitcoin at that point. And then it's a case of how far above 12k do we break, and then do we consolidate and hold, or what happens above there? That is what I'm looking for as the likely scenario. Obviously, we have got this horizontal coming in at 11,500, which we are moving away from. But I mean, not necessarily with any significant speed. I mean, it kind of looks all right on this daily, but yeah, I mean, if you look at it on this candle, on this 4 hour time frame, obviously we had that big move up, and now we've been floating up basically. Which isn't bad, but we are going to have to see some good moves to get us through this. I don't think we're just going to float through these levels of resistance effortlessly like they're not there. So yeah, that's something to look at. I'm sure we're going to have a CME gap below us as well when CME is open, and also we're looking for the stock markets and futures markets to open. And yeah, these are basically not really moved. They're basically, well, there you can see the percentage wise, they've not really moved, so nothing really to see there. So yeah, I mean, it's a case of waiting to. I personally think is waiting to take our lead from the dollar, and then obviously what that does to stock markets and gold and silver. And providing the dollar is still weak, stock markets and gold and silver is still strong. I just think 20k is within our reaches and then beyond. Obviously not this week, but that is just going to be the path that we're going down. It may be a bit of a windy path, a volatile path, but I think odds on we are basically going to all-time highs and then new all-time highs, and I couldn't possibly speculate how high that could go. But I would guess it would be between like 50 and 100k. It could be anywhere. It could land anywhere between those 2 points. I believe anything lower or anything higher, I would well raise an eyebrow to and think that's not what I expected. But yeah, that is long term though. We are still obviously going to have to play this day by day, 4-hour candle by 4-hour candle, 12-hour candle by 12-hour candle, just playing the shorter term trends, because well, that's unless you're just going to hodl and not look at the charts at all, then that is that's basically what you have to do. But yeah, looking good for breaking out this descending broadening wedge, looking good for breaking these resistances, and yeah, then it'll be a case of how do we interact with the top side. Well, the top side, the 12k level. How do we interact with the 12k level? So yeah, a lot of the alts have been doing well today. A lot of alts popping off. We will go over to our Binance. It's called a Binance list, but it's got other alts on it. And just have a quick look down our list. If this wants to come up, yeah, you can see Ethereum up nicely, Link up nicely, RLC up a nice 5%. Come on, going for $2. Ocean doing well, Ren doing well, OGN realistically needs to get over 50 for us. Len doing okay, Carver having a nice move, Band having a nice move, and SXP having a nice move. Yeah, everything pretty much is having a nice move, apart from Mana or Decentraland, as it's called. BZRX having a nice move. Enigma, LTO, what's not having a nice move? Thorchain having a nice move. Lots of these coins I've got. In fact, basically most of these coins I have. This is why these are on that list. This is how they found their way onto their list. But yeah, lots of coins doing well, and you can see we are. If we just take RLCI exec for example, this is a coin I'm particularly bullish of. I mean, the highs up here around 220. Yeah, around the 2 spot 2s. So yeah, I think that is a perfectly a reasonable target, and then I don't expect us to stop there. I'd expect a move well, anywhere up to this 22.6 to 2.8 region. So that is just one coin that I'm looking at. Let's have a look at Ocean. Ocean's obviously a new one to Binance. There's not a lot of charting history, but I can tell you now it was a lot lower before, and it is on an uptrend. We are now pushing these highs here. I'd ignore that wick there. So yeah, I reckon we can make some good progress. In fact, Ocean has actually been. Let me just tell you real quick. Let me just tell you how high Ocean was. Ocean has topped out at 76. So Ocean's high is one second. Ocean's high is this level just here, and I think we will take that out and continue upwards. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at, guys. Looking for big altcoin movements, looking for looking for good Bitcoin movement to the upside. Downside obviously below 11,500. Then I think we will come and test this trend line if we lose that, if we break that, and that trend line could come in anywhere. Well, to be honest, that trend line, realistically, it could come in around 11,600 area, depending how long it took to come down to test it. Do I think that is likely to happen? Nope, but it could happen, and then we'll have confirmations of that move, confirmations of the move above. So yeah, that is it really. Not much else to say. I think it is going to be an exciting week of trading. I think things are definitely hotting up in these stock markets. Things are definitely hotting up. I was just talking to one of my friends today actually about how how like I especially myself, he did not so much, but I trade like sort of relative strength against other markets. So I will even though there's a coin I like more. If we're talking cryptocurrencies, I can often have none of that coin and have lots of another coin I don't like as much because the relative prices. I think that the other one has more room to move upwards. So I sort of do that, and that theory does translate to the wider market. So stock markets are doing very well, and cryptocurrency markets are actually not doing that well relative to them. Our all-time high for Bitcoin is pretty much 20k. Yet we're well into the all-time highs for Nasdaq and S&P. So people will be potentially looking at crypto markets, thinking, yeah, this is a relative buy compared to these other markets. And yeah, I think, and then the other interesting aspect I was discussing regarding that is the craziness that stock markets have been doing, like with Tesla, for example. I believe that it's conditioning people to think they can buy ridiculous highs on assets and make loads of money, because they are basically doing. So when Bitcoin starts to get more attention, when we start to get to that 20k area, I think there will be a lot of money has been conditioned by crazy stock market pumps to basically do kamikaze crazy things, buying highs, and yeah, that'd be great. I mean, it's a game of musical chairs. As long as the music stops, you have a chair. That's all good, and I think that could be an interesting dynamic that really could propel us higher. It's sort of human nature. You want to buy you want to buy things when they're expensive. People don't want to buy things when they're cheap. In markets, they want to buy them when they're going up, when the attention's there. I see it all the time in group chats and things. There's a coin that's pumping and everyone starts talking about it and wanting to buy it. There's a coin that's not doing a lot or going down and people aren't really talking about it, wanting to buy it. And yeah, it's kind of human nature when it comes to these things. So that is an interesting dynamic that I am going to look out for, is that we're going to get all the Robin Hoodies starting to chase absolute mad pumps in whatever coin, the coin of the day, the coin du jour. So there we go, guys. That is it. I'll start rambling on about just about random theories that I have about the market. So yeah, thanks for listening. Remember, this is not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I will speak to you guys in the morning.